Hey guys, today I'm filming my single shadows of the month video. I mentioned a little while back that throughout the year of 2017 I will be rotating between palette of the month and single shadows of the month, just depending on what products I plan on using. So this month was all cool tone eyeshadows. I used a bunch from Anastasia, one from MakeUpForEver, and one from ColourPop. I'm still trying to figure out the format of this video, but I will be showing you all the shades with swatches, giving you their color descriptions, and also dupes. All of my dupes will be coming from Temptalia.com. I'll be showing you all the looks I created, and then I will be telling you about the formula of all these shadows. First, I have the 4 shades I used from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. Anastasia Vermeer. This is described as a warm beige with a frost finish. Here is a swatch of Vermeer. Anastasia Beverly Hills Warm Taupe is described as a warm taupe with a matte finish. Here is a swatch of Warm Taupe. Anastasia Buon Fresco is described as a cool mauve with a matte finish. Here is a swatch of Buon Fresco. Antique Bronze is described as a warm brown with a pearl finish. Here is a swatch of Antique Bronze. Anastasia Pink Champagne is described as a warm taupe with a titanium finish. Here's a swatch of Anastasia Pink Champagne. Anastasia Macaroon is described as a warm lavender with a titanium finish. Here's a swatch of Anastasia Macaroon. Anastasia Dusty Rose is described as a warm mauve with a matte finish. Here is a swatch of Anastasia Dusty Rose. MakeUpForEver I544 Pink Granite is described as a warm taupe with a pearl finish. Here's a swatch of MakeUpForEver I544 Pink Granite. ColourPop Porter is described as a warm berry with a pearl finish. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Porter. With all of these eyeshadows, I created 5 different looks, and now I will show you the details of those looks. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Milani Shadow Eyes Pencil in Champagne Toast. From the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, I'm wearing Vermeer on the lid, Buon Fresco as a transition color, Warm Taupe as a crease color, and Antique Bronze in my outer corner. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC blush in Breath of Plum. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a lip liner and a liquid lipstick. I lined my lips with the ColourPop Lippie pencil in Rayezor. I filled in my lips with the Anastasia liquid lipstick in Soft Lilac. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Milani Shadow Eyes Pencil in Sand Dunes. On my lids, I'm wearing the MakeUpForEver Artist Eyeshadow in the shade I544. In my crease, I'm wearing the NYX Single Shadow in the shade Coquette. For my transition color, I am wearing Makeup Geek Petal Pusher. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Heather Pop. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a lip liner and a lip gloss. I lined my lips with the ColourPop Lippie pencil in Rayezor. I filled in my lips completely with the NYX Butter Gloss in Angel Food. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Milani Shadow Eyes Pencil in Champagne Toast. On my lid, I used Anastasia Pink Champagne. In my crease, I used Anastasia Dusty Rose. For my transition color, I used Makeup Geek Petal Pusher. And here's what it looks like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the e.l.f. blush in Berry Mary. On my lips, I'm wearing the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Catnip. Here's today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Too Cool. On my lid, I'm wearing the Anastasia eyeshadow single in Macaroon. In my crease, I'm wearing the Anastasia single shadow in Dusty Rose. For my transition color, I'm wearing the Makeup Geek eyeshadow single in Petal Pusher. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Clinique Cheek Pop in Heather Pop. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a lip liner and a liquid lipstick. I lined my lips with a ColourPop Lippie pencil in Buon, which is a dupe for Max Whirl. I filled in my lips completely with the Anastasia liquid lipstick in Dusty Rose. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lids, I'm wearing the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights eyeshadow in Porter. I packed 2 layers onto my lid, and then I took a light amount of this and blew it out into my crease. And from the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette, I use this shade Matte Sing as my transition color, and I also use this on top of Porter in my crease to help blend it out and lighten it up a bit. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the e.l.f. blush in Berry Mary. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a lip liner and a jumbo lip crayon. I lined my lips with the ColourPop Lippie pencil in Ellery. I filled in my lips completely with the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain in Crush. So now I want to talk about all of the products I used in the looks as well as the formula of all of these shadows. So in last month's video of my single shadows of the month, which I will have linked up here, I talked a lot about the crease transition colors and the cream bases I used with those shadows, and that's because I mostly just chose lid shades. This month, I did choose a lot of lid shades, but I also included other shades for crease transition and outer corner. And also last month, I felt like some of the bases I used were quintessential to get the best look possible with those shadows. And for this month, I did use an eyeshadow base with all of my looks, and I feel like it really helped. But I don't think it was exactly quintessential to the look. I like using a cream base on my lid with every single look I create, unless it's using a ColourPop eyeshadow. For ColourPop shadows, I don't feel a need to use a cream base, but for all other shadows, I always do. My favorite cream bases are Milani Shadow Eyes pencils and the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I have so many different shades to go with so many different eyeshadows. So I recommend using a cream base with all of your shadow looks on the lid because it will really help to intensify the shadow and make it last all day long. So that's why I love using cream bases, and I did use one with all of these looks, but I don't feel like the color of the cream base was essential to make the color of the shadows stand out and be their most perfect selves. With all of that being said, I did want to talk about one eyeshadow that was not included as one of my shadows of the month, but I used it with so many of these looks. And that shadow would be Makeup Geek Petal Pusher. This is a beautiful shade. This is a really nice, light, cool, pinky purple color. I also love Makeup Geek Cupcake, but that one's definitely a lot more warm. And because this is more cool, it worked as a perfect transition color with these other shades. So with my Anastasia Dusty Rose, that's a great crease color, but for my skin tone, it wasn't light enough for a transition. So I chose Makeup Geek Petal Pusher, which is just a few shades lighter than Dusty Rose. It was a perfect transition shade for me. I love the Makeup Geek eyeshadow formula. I think that they're very pigmented, creamy, easy to blend, and this was definitely a standout for me because it worked so well with so many of these looks I created. So I definitely recommend this if you are looking for a light, cool tone, purpley pink transition shade. It is amazing and definitely helped me out a lot with all of these looks. So now to talk about the formula of all the shadows in the single shadows of the month. Starting with the shadows in the Anastasia Mono Renaissance palette, I've already done an entire palette of the month video on this palette. I will have that linked up here. And the same look I'm featuring in this single shadows of the month, I used in that palette of the month. But I loved it so much and wanted to make sure that I used it again, especially because I love using cool tones during this time of year. And when you look at this palette, it is an overall warm shadow palette, but I chose the 4 cool tone shadows, put them together, and it created an amazing look. So for the formula of Vermeer as well as Primavera, these are the 2 metallic shades in the palette. And these are a completely different finish than the Anastasia titanium shades. These are super shiny and metallic, but they are super duper buttery. I actually prefer the formula of these over the titanium finishes. So these 2 are absolutely amazing for the finishes, and I love Vermeer. I think it is just the most gorgeous shade to pop on the lid. So next we have Buon, Fresco, and Warm Taupe. I think that both of these might be available in single shadows, which is fantastic, but both of these, as well as all of the mattes in this palette, have the same formula. They're very, very pigmented and buttery. They do have a lot of kick up, which I usually hate, but these blend out and perform so nicely. They are not patchy whatsoever, and I'm very, very impressed with the formula of those shades. Antique Bronze here does have some shimmer in it, and that one has a ton of kick up and fallout. That's one of my least favorite shades in the palette, but when I just use it in my outer corner, I think it looks fantastic. So I really love that in this look, but it isn't my most favorite shade in the palette, but I do think that the formula of all of these is really, really nice. Next for my Anastasia eyeshadow singles, this is my little Anastasia palette. 2 rows of titaniums, 1 row of matte shades. I'm sure you will see these other shades in future single shadows of the month video, but this row here are the ones that I use. So Pink Champagne and Macaroon are titanium finishes. And the closest comparison to the formula, I would say, is the Makeup Geek foiled shadows. And these are extremely metallic and intense. And the texture is totally different from the shimmer shades in the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. These seem to be a bit more wet, but somehow a bit denser, and I have to apply a couple layers to really get the intensity on my lid. And something that I wanted to note is that with those titanium shadows, same with Makeup Geek foiled shadows, I have to use a certain brush. So my 2 go-to eyeshadow brushes would be the MAC 239 and the MAC 242. The 239 is a natural hair brush and the 242 is a synthetic hair brush. And these are both flat shader brushes. And I tried using the 239 with those titanium eyeshadows and it was applying color, but it wasn't really picking up that metallic sheen as well. But the 242 picked up the color and picked up the metallic sheen perfectly. I did put a couple layers of that shadow over a base, and oh my gosh, was the color and the metallic sheen so intense and beautiful. So I would recommend absolutely with these titanium shadows and also Makeup Geek foiled using a brush like this, a synthetic flat shader brush. It doesn't have to be the one from MAC, but a synthetic flat shader brush to pack the color on the lid. That is the way that I was able to get those shadows to work best for me, but I love them because they are so metallic and the most beautiful colors ever. So I do highly recommend those finishes. That's why I have so many of them, but the colors in the formula I think is really nice. You just have to use the right brush. And then we have Anastasia Dusty Rose. This was in the Artist palette, I believe, and of course it's also available in a single, which is how I have it. And Dusty Rose, as I said, is similar to Buon Fresco, but this one is more warm, while Buon Fresco is more cool. I love this shade. It is an amazing matte formula. It applies very pigmentedly and it blends really, really nice. And this does have a little bit of kick up, but not as much as the eyeshadows in the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. But they blend and perform really similarly, but there isn't as much kick up. But I absolutely love this. I thought this was a great, great crease color to go along with these 2 shades, but it wasn't making it look too deep and intense. It was really just emphasizing the crease, but keeping the main focus on the beautiful shimmery lid. And my next eyeshadow is a little sample size of one of the MakeUpForEver Artist eyeshadows in I-544 Pink Granite. And MakeUpForEver has a ton of different finishes for their shadows. This is one of the eye finishes. I think that might mean iridescent. I'll have to look it up and let you know for sure. And this is a very pigmented shadow, but I did have to put a couple layers on. Now, I'm not sure if that's because this is a sample or if it's because of the finish. It isn't super duper creamy and pigmented. It is pigmented, but it's just pressed a little tighter. And in store, I've really only swatched the metallics and the mattes, which seem incredible and like super pigmented, creamy. And I've never swatched these in store, so I'm not sure if it's because of the finish or it is because this is a sample size. Regardless, I still think this is a beautiful, beautiful taupey color. And I do like the way that it goes on, but as I said, I do just have to apply a couple layers. These are really, really expensive eyeshadows. I know that they are huge when they're full size. They're like this big, so you are getting your money's worth, but I really do like this one, but I don't feel like I would buy this in the full size if I used it up because I already have MAC Satin Taupe and other taupe shades that are similar, and this formula didn't blow me away, but it wasn't bad either. And my last shade is ColourPop Porter, which is a metallic finish. As you guys know, like the past 3 months, I've been using different ColourPop burgundy single shadows on my lid because I have so many. So this is definitely not the most unique shade, but I think it is stunning. And this is incredibly, incredibly pigmented. I had no trouble applying this on my lid, and I did use it in my crease as well. It didn't work as well for me, but that's because of the brush I used. It is not because of the shadow. I love the formula of this. It is so super creamy and pigmented. I love all the ColourPop shadows, but this one is a metallic finish, and the metallics I'm kind of 50-50 on. For this one, there are some glitter pieces in it, but they stick to the eye and they do not fall out on my face. With some of the metallic shades, they have so much chunky glitter in them that it gets all over my face and I don't reach for those. When a metallic shadow comes out that I'm interested in, I wait to see swatches and reviews because I don't know if it's going to have a great formula like this one with just a little bit of glitter, or a formula like Millionaire, which has a ton of glitter fallout. So this one I think is amazing. Like I said, I'm wearing it on my lid. If you are wanting a ColourPop burgundy shade, I highly recommend this one. I think it's fantastic. So overall, I was impressed with all of these formulas. All of the shades I think are so beautiful, and I really fell in love with all the looks I created, and also the lip colors I paired with these eye looks I think were absolutely fantastic. And my favorite ones were, of course, the looks with my Anastasia eyeshadows and my Anastasia liquid lipsticks. I love this formula. I just talked about them in my February favorites, which I will have linked up here, but I think that those lipstick colors paired perfectly with those eyeshadow looks. So that was my single shadows of the month for February. I would love to know what looks you guys have created with these eyeshadows, and I would love to know your thoughts on the formulas. And also please give me some feedback on the format of this video. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how I like it best. And I wanted to thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.